What's up, guys? Here for the Week 13 review. This was the last week of the regular season. So by now, I'm sure most of you guys already know what the playoff situation looks like for you. Some already knew they were in, some already knew they were out, and some were kind of borderline. I believe that was four teams. So I'll cover that real quick. As you guys know, myself and Garrett are the 1 and 2 seed. So we each get a first round bye this week. Dakota will be matched up against Orlando in the 4 and 5 seed matchup. Right now, it looks like Dakota is a 13-point favorite based on the projections. And then the other matchup, the 3-6 matchup between Chad and Josh, looks like Chad is a 15-point favorite in that matchup. So I know there was some confusion with what I stated as far as what teams would make the playoffs. I was under the assumption that a three-way tie went to points scored for and not the head-to-head because, as Philip stated, that's kind of what took place last year or the year before when we had a tie for the last playoff spot or last couple. But in that instance, a couple years ago, the teams did not play each other an even amount of times. As you guys know, weeks 1 and 2 are repeated in weeks 12 and 13 in our league because we have 12 teams, so you're only going to be able to play the other teams. There's only 11 other teams you can play. You have 13 weeks. You have to play 2 teams twice. So in that case, when the tiebreaker brought down, the teams didn't play each other equal amount of time. So for the system to break that, it went to points scored for. This year, it so happens that Josh, Dalton, and Orlando all played each other twice. Orlando beat Dalton, and he also beat Josh. So that's why he got the 5th seed. Josh beat Dalton in his matchup, so that's why Josh got the last playoff spot, not Dalton. That's how it worked out. In the NFL, that's the first tiebreaker is, I want to say, is head-to-head record or division record, but we don't have divisions. So obviously, if you guys think we should make changes to that in the future, by all means, during the off season, we can discuss things and we can make any changes necessary. It kind of sucks because I think Dalton might have the best team out of those 3 teams that is there. He does have the most points scored for out of those 3, but it is what it is, and that's how the tiebreaker stands. So unfortunately, he goes down the consolation bracket to compete for whatever draft pick he wants. Obviously, I heard some people talking about not wanting the first pick. I don't really care what happens in the consolation bracket. I don't have any control over you guys' teams, and at this point, it doesn't really matter. I always try to win regardless. People can win from any position in the draft. We've seen. I know we've seen people. I don't know where Dakota picked last year. I know one year, the second year Ray's dad won. He had the last pick and he won. So it doesn't necessarily matter where you pick. You just gotta pick well and do well during the season. So enough about the playoffs. That'll have enough discussion during the week with the two matchups going on. We'll look at this week. Maybe a preview of what we may see in the playoffs was myself versus Dakota. I won this one pretty easily. It was 141-97. I had Nick Chubb with 15. Todd Gurley had 30. Devonta Adams had 19. Thielen with 11. Ebron had 10. Spencer Ware had 12. Ravens defense got me 17. Harrison Butker got me 12. Carson on the bench with 12, Prescott on the bench with 14, so I could have got some more points if I would have put him in over Matt Ryan. He basically doubled Matt Ryan's score. But Matt Ryan got me here, so I'm probably just going to be rolling with Matt Ryan, every week. Can't hurt. Looking at, I didn't really have any duds in my lineup, which obviously helps, get that high of a score there. Obviously, without Melvin Gordon, so we'll see how that goes. Looking here at Dakota's team, McCaffrey, another big game. He had 27. Hopkins had 13. Dalvin Cook with 15. Broncos defense with 13. Had Carson Wentz on the bench, who had 20. So he could have got about 12 more points there. Nothing else really going on the bench. Decided to play LeGarrette Blount, over Jordan Howard. I kind of questioned that a little bit, but it wouldn't have made too big of a difference. It's 2 points. Tyreek Hill had a rough game with just 6. Supposed to be a really good matchup for him. I want to say the Raiders really focused on stopping Tyreek Hill. That had a lot to do with that. Julio Jones with a tough day, 3 points. I knew it was going to be a tough matchup, but I figured somebody like Julio could overcome it. I actually played Julio and Matt Ryan as my stack in DraftKings, and obviously, as you guys know, that didn't work out too well. But I was trying to go against the field and be contrarian there. Gronk only 4 points, so rough day for some of Dakota's guys. So we'll see if he can get it turned around, in his first round playoff matchup. Next up, we got Josh versus Philip. Philip won this one. It was 116-96. Josh rolls into the playoffs on a 5-game losing streak. So probably don't think he stands a good chance of winning this matchup, but you never know. We're looking at Phillips' team. Deshaun Watson had 16. Robert Woods was 16. Keenan Allen with a big day. He had 30. I didn't even realize that. Doug Martin with 12. Rosas, the kicker for the Giants, had 15. It's a kicker I don't see all the time. Kenyon Drake on the bench with 11. Had Cowboys defense on the bench with 10. Had Jimmy Graham on the bench with 9. Could have played him over Matt Lacoste from Denver, who got him 0. Alshon with just below 5. Rough day for him. Everything else is pretty much on par. And look over here at Josh's team. James White with 15. Mixon had 11. Tyler Lockett had 13. Peterson had 16. Peterson had the 90-yard touchdown run, which was huge in the game yesterday. And he is only the second player ever to have a 90-yard touchdown or a 90-yard run in a game and not total 100 rushing yards in the game. I mean, that is that's pretty crazy if you ask me. I mean, it shows he ran the ball 9 times for 8 yards. So that means on 8 of his carries, he had 8 yards. That's a little crazy. Had Jets defense with 12. Zerline with 14. Had Phillip Rivers on the bench with 24. So that I would have increased his score by 17. But wouldn't have been quite enough to get him there for the win. Obviously, he had some duds in his lineup. Played Traquan Smith, who had 0. Trey Burton had 0. Drew Brees with 7. You expect a little bit more there, but everybody else is pretty on par with what you'd expect. Next up, we got Garrett versus Steven. Garrett won this one. It was 124-107. Steven is also on a 5-game losing streak. He needed this win. That would have helped. I think if he would have got the win, playoff scenario would have been probably a little different, but couldn't quite pull it out, and he moves on to the loser's bracket. Looking at Garrett's team, Big Ben with 17. Landry finally had a decent game. He had 13. Tate finally had a decent game, had 20. Kelsey just killed it. He had 33. Texans defense with 14. Prater with 10. Nothing to speak of on his bench. I guess he will be getting rid of Kareem Hunt this week as he's a free agent and will not be playing for anybody this year. Looking over here at Steven's team, Cam Newton with 15, Aaron Jones with 13, Josh Gordon with 13, Tyler Boyd with 13, Zach Ertz with 13. 13 seemed to be his big number. I mean, obviously, I just round things up or down based on decimal points. Jags defense with 14. Did have Naheem Hines on the bench with 10. Could have got a little bit more points playing him, but it wouldn't have made a big difference there. Duds, I would say Demaryius Thomas only getting 5. He lost Matt Breida in the game. He got hurt. I mean, Cam Newton really fucked it up for him this week. I mean, I know we have plenty of Panthers fans in this group. I've never been a fan of Cam Newton. And, when you're playing one of the worst pass defense in the league and you throw 4 interceptions, I mean, this guy can be one of the best quarterbacks in the league at times, but there's other times he can also be the worst, man. it's got to be rough to be a Panthers fan, knowing that you can beat anybody on any given day, but you can also lose to anybody on any given day. Next up, we got Chad versus Brian. Brian is won this one. It was 97-92. Brian is actually on a 4-game winning streak, so it's a little bit surprising. Looking at Chad's team, Andrew Luck finally had a bad day. Only had 10 points. Elliott with 23. George Kittle had 10. Houston kicker had 21. Nothing to really speak of on the bench. I guess he didn't want to take the chance playing Stephon Diggs. But, some duds in his lineup. Tevin Coleman with 2 points. Really that's it. You would expect Michael Thomas to do a little better than 7. But everybody else, I don't really expect much out of any of those other guys, to be honest. Obviously, Luck, but looking here at Brian's team, Brady with 15, Crowell had 13, Yeldon with 10, T.Y. Hilton with 12, Cortland Sutton had 17, Colts defense got him 11, nothing to speak of on his bench. He has an open bench spot for some reason. I don't really know that. I assume he'll cut Alex Collins this week as well, but you never know with Brian, so we'll see. Next up, we got the human garbage can versus Derek. Derek won this one 119-95. Derek is on a 3-game winning streak, and Orlando is on a 2-game losing streak as he heads into the playoffs. So Orlando didn't win a game forever, won a shit ton of games in a row, and then is back to losing again. So his team is very roller coaster. We have Aaron Rodgers with 15, Saquon Barkley with 16, Antonio Brown with 26, Cooper had 10, nothing else going on. Allen Robinson had 10 on his bench. He could have got a few more points, nothing crazy. Chris Conley with 10 on his bench as well. Some duds, Eckler had 7. You might expect a little bit more out of Eckler. Dion Lewis with 4.5. I'm not really sure what you expect out of Dion. Everybody else pretty on par. Obviously, he lost Greg Olsen. I want to say he got hurt fairly early in that game. So he only got 2 points. So he'll be trying to acquire a tight end, which is hilarious because a few weeks ago, Orlando dropped Eric Ebron, and now he could definitely use him. Adam Vinatieri got 0 points. No points scored for the Colts yet on Sunday. Looking here at Derek's team, Lamar Miller with 12, Tariq Cohen, big day, 29, threw the game-tying touchdown pass to send the game to overtime. Adam Humphries with 16. He's really been coming on good past few weeks. Austin Hooper with 13. Had Chris Godwin on the bench who had 19. He may have to start throwing him in there because he had Christian Kirk in the lineup, and I think he had a foot injury, and he's on injury reserve. Played the right defense. Vikings got -3. Played the Rams. They got 9. So, good coaching decision there. So we'll see if Derek can win that first pick like he seems to be wanting. Next up, which I believe is the last matchup, we have Dalton versus Joseph. Dalton won this one 117-114. So I believe it's the closest matchup of the week. Dalton had Russell Wilson, 25. James Conner with 21. Conner has been ruled out this week with an injury, so that'll be obviously if Dalton even would have made the playoffs, that would have been a pretty big obstacle to try to overcome there. Kamara with 11. Odell Beckham with 17. Threw another touchdown pass. Corey Davis had 13. 17 out of his kicker. Had Lamar Jackson on the bench with 17. So he got the most points out of the quarterback position he could. Some duds. Josh Reynolds with 3. And Njoku with 2. Everything else is pretty much on par, I would say. Looking over here at Joseph's team, Mahomes with 33. Phillip Lindsay with 28. Jared Cook with 20. And had Winston on the bench who had 23, but played the right quarterback. Nothing else on his bench. Some duds. Gabriel with 1. Emmanuel Sanders only had 4. Mark Ingram only had 4. Even Mike Evans with just 7. You expect more out of Evans there. Everybody thought it was going to be a huge day for Carlos Hyde. He only had 2 points. So It's just for whatever reason, Leonard Fournette's the only one who can run in Jacksonville. I don't really know how that works out. So obviously, waivers will process tomorrow at noon. Obviously, some people really need to get some people. Obviously, I spent most of my money last week, so I won't be able to pick anybody up for the most part. Looks like Joseph still has the most money, but I'm not really sure if he's looking to get anybody. He hasn't placed too many claims throughout the season. I could probably run a report here and find out who's made the most pickups and stuff. Obviously, some players got more money than others, so best luck to everybody. Obviously, playoffs are going on. If you guys have any questions, let me know. But I'm here to win that belt, so I have 3 weeks to get that done. Obviously, I have a bye this week, but I'll set my lineup, make sure all my see how my team would have scored. Just for what ifs. But best of luck to everybody, and see you next time.